Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today let's ask the question, should the job market dictate what programming language you learn? Alright, so today I want to respond to a comment that came in just the other day from one of our older videos, episode 549. Now, episode 549 was called How Dart May Become the Language to Rule Them All, where I talked about my enthusiasm for Flutter and for Dart and how Dart might become that one language which we use for everything. We use for desktop, we use for mobile, Android and iPhone, and we also use for browser-based applications. Whereas previously I thought JavaScript would be that language, but Dart improves on that because it's compiled, has a lot of things there. And if you follow the channel at all, you know that I'm excited about Flutter and I'm excited about that technology. But there was this really good comment that came in from Tim Roth just the other day. It's a little bit critical of the channel, but I don't mind that. He makes a really good point. I'm going to read you his comment. It's a bit long, so bear with me. Tim says, I have always seen sensational announcements on this channel and a lot of hype for new technologies. But what about the job market? Not everybody out there is a lazy project leader or a recruiter. To get a real view on this technology, it's sufficient one opens a random job portal and magically, wow, there are 10 effing Flutter positions out there. Wow, are 10 Flutter job positions sufficient to learn a brand new language? It's crystal clear that nobody gives a S about Flutter, meaning that there is few developers out there and almost zero Flutter/Dart demand. Are you willing to spend time and money to train your team for just one Flutter project? I don't think so. Really good point, Tim. First of all, about making sensational claims. What me sensational on this, the greatest channel in the entire universe? You make a good point, but I have no interest in whether people learn Flutter or not. But frequently, I do get people ask me what languages they should learn, especially people who are very young and they're getting new into technology. They'll say, should I learn Java or Kotlin, or should I learn React Native or Ionic, or which language should I learn to do this? Should I do iOS or should I do Android? And really, it depends on what you want to do, right? If your goal is to build your own project and put something out there on the App Store, a lot of it doesn't matter. Pick the one you're most comfortable with, unless you're targeting one platform or the other, obviously. But it depends on that. But if your goal is to get a job, then you should look at the job market. Do go on those websites, see what's available, but you also have to be specific in a certain way. Now, Tim, in my opinion, actually in my experience, there's going to be, the job market operates with supply and demand, obviously. So right now, there's very little demand for Flutter developers, and there's probably more people learning that. But I think that's going to change in the next few years, mainly because Flutter and Dart, they answer real-world problems. Right now, we do not have a very good cross-platform solution. We have several. We have ones that are based on a web view. We got some that are based on Mono with Xamarin through C#. We've got React Native. We've got other ones, but they all have their limitations. And Flutter's the one where I'm thinking that might be the one that solves all these issues. For me, it solves real-world problems. I got real problems with Cordova-based applications. I've got problems with React Native-based applications. Xamarin is a whole different thing, but some people really like it. Or you could go native in both, but then you're duplicating your efforts. So I do think that the demand's going to rise. I could be wrong, but in a few years. But I can remember just a few years ago trying to find a Node.js full stack developer, and there were very few available on the job market. I mean, I was excited about the technology. As somebody who's building applications for our clients, I'm going out there trying to find somebody. I can't find anybody with those skills, and when I could find them, they were charging a lot because the demand was outstripping the supply, right? It was really hard to find a really good JavaScript developer or a good Node.js Express developer, right? I can remember the same thing with Ruby on Rails when that was big back in 2006, 7, 8, whatever it was, right? When that was brand new and it was all hype. I remember learning that technology and looking at the job market, and there was nothing out there. But then just a couple years later, everybody needed that because everybody started to catch on, right? I think there's two different ways of doing that when you're looking for, so there's two things to consider. Are you just building something for yourself? Then the technology should be what you're comfortable with. If you're looking at the job market, then you should do that. And there's a beginner developer who just needs a job. If you just need a job, take a look at those job markets, see what's available, see what people are looking for, and try to learn that. But you're going to be a beginner. You're always going to be a beginner, and a lot of times they're not looking for a beginner. For Flutter, I think in a few years there's going to be a lot of jobs available in it. And they're not going to be looking for the people who are just learning it now because there's demand. They're going to be people with a little bit of experience, and this is your chance to get on and learn that stuff early on and start doing that. So I think as a junior developer who just needs a job, I just need to pay the bills, I just need to be employed, then yeah, you should learn the thing that's popular, because then you'll have more opportunities, you'll have more interviews, you'll get in there, but there's a lot more supply, so you're going to be competing with a lot more people. Right? But while you're doing that job, while you're doing that 9-to-5 job, and you're trying to build up your profile, trying to build up your CV, trying to do better, it is not unreasonable to leave a job and move to another one where you get paid double what you did. I've done it several times with contracts, and it was always a technology I was learning on the side. There was a job, the technology I was doing day to day, and there was the technology I was learning, right? There's always one that you're learning. As software developers, as professional software developers, we always need to be learning the new languages. We always need to know what's available, and we always need to be up there, because that's what keeps us marketable, that's what keeps us employed, etc., etc. And even if you're just doing your own project, even if you're not, I don't want a job, I just want to do my thing, it's always good to look to see what the job market wants to, because if you're going to learn a language, you might as well learn something that you might make a bit more money if your project doesn't work out. But, right, there is a progression. There is a progression where there's going to be a point where there's going to be more demand for Flutter than there are available developers, right? And you could be the guy who's just learning it then because there's the demand, right? So you'd be the newbie who has no experience. You can't even go in and pass a good job interview. Or you could be the guy who says, yeah, you know what? I was learning it when it wasn't popular. Like I was in preparation for the time it took off, and it's a risk. It's a risk because you don't know what's going to be big. But this is something I've got a good feeling about. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But there's so much backing behind this, and there's so much enthusiasm about it. But I do think this is going to be big. So, and like, let me know what you guys think. If you're looking for a job, like take a look at PHP. If you take a look at the job market, do a look for PHP. You'll find loads and loads of PHP developers, and I think it's a lot more difficult to charge a high rate as a PHP developer because there's so much demand, because there's so much supply. But that's why you have to look at other things like Laravel and all the different frameworks out there so you can become an expert in that one thing. And then how can you demonstrate that you're an expert, right? I think it's important for every developer to always be learning the new technologies. And if you think I'm being sensational, I have no vested interest in whether or not people, I don't work for Flutter, I don't work for Dart, I make apps. That's what I do. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree, disagree? I think it's a really good comment, Tim. Thank you very much. Thanks for your honesty there. Anyway, that is it for today. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.